Get it together. Hey everyone, it's Anna and I'm back with another vintage cookbook. This time I'm reviewing Kids Cooking, a first cookbook for children. This cookbook was published in 1970. As you can see, my copy has seen better days. I think this came from a library sale. I do enjoy children's cookbooks. I have a few in my collection. Whenever I see them out and about, I do like to pick them up. If you open the front cover, it says the Aileen Paul Cooking School Cookbook. I've never heard of these. I don't know if it was a series. I did look this up just a little bit. I couldn't find a ton of information on Aileen Paul. I did find something that said she wrote about 10 cookbooks for children and gardening books for children, but not a lot of information out there about her that I could find. I didn't spend a ton of time on it though, so maybe there's more that I'm missing. Something interesting to note when you just do a quick flip through of this book, everything in it is like red, white, and black. All of the type, you know, we've got black and white line drawings, but then like red numbers and just little touches of red here and there. So it's kind of an unusual style. The cover is very cute. This is the sole photograph that I could find. You know, the front and the back covers, those are the only photographs. But look at those kids. They're having a great time. Wait, I just noticed something. It's the same photograph, the front and the back, except it's flipped. I did not notice that until right now. There are two separate introductions in this book. We've got the introduction for mothers, and then we also have a note to kids. I read through this intro for mothers, and it said that this book is supposed to be for kids ages 7 through 12. I feel like that's quite a range. There's a lot of difference between a 7-year-old and their mindset and a 12-year-old and what they're thinking. And I think that the recipes kind of reflect that too. You have some recipes that are super, super basic, and then you have a couple that are just kind of like out there. I'll get into those in a little bit. Each section has this like red shape. So I wanted to highlight this recipe for French toast. It's pretty basic. I mean, it's got your milk, your egg, sugar, salt, vanilla. Like it's just a French toast recipe. But the way that they describe it at the top, everyone likes French toast. It tastes good. It's good for you. And it's easy to make. I don't like to say that certain foods are good or bad for you. I just think it's funny because the way that I make French toast, it is probably not good for you the way that I make it. A little bit further into the cookbook, we have lunch dishes. So we get into things like grilled cheese sandwiches, grilled peanut butter sandwiches, which sound really interesting, beef and macaroni, and then there's something called all kinds of soup. Basically, it's just instructions on how to prepare condensed soup or boxed soup, which is fine. Like, I think that's good for kids to learn. But again, it's one of those recipes that seems like very basic if you are 12 years old. I don't know, maybe I'm different. I started cooking at a pretty young age because I was so nosy and I had to be in the kitchen. My mom was always giving me things to do. As a contrast to all kinds of soup, where you just prepare, you know, condensed soup, meaning you add water to it, there's another recipe that's kind of glaringly on the other side of the spectrum. Roast beef dinner. And when they say a roast beef dinner, they mean a 2-rib standing roast. I didn't make a rib roast until I was well into my 20s. I feel like it's kind of an expensive cut of meat to mess up, and I don't know that I would give that to my 7 to 12-year-old child to cook. It's a very simple recipe. There's actually, now that I look at this, there is no seasoning. I don't see salt or pepper in this recipe. It says 2 rib standing rib roast of beef, a 1-pound can of potatoes, a 1-pound can of green beans or carrots, 1 can of onions. No, there's no seasoning. I don't think this is gonna be a great meal. So we go from a standing rib roast, and then just a few pages later, we have spaghetti and meat. And I thought, okay, so they're cooking spaghetti, they're making a meat sauce. No. The ingredients for this dish are 1 can prepared spaghetti with sauce and 1 can of Vienna sausages, and then some breadcrumbs to sprinkle on top. This is all over the place. There's a big gap there. There's a big gap. I did find one recipe in here that I have made before for wacky cake. In case you didn't know, wacky cake actually happens to be vegan, and it tastes really good too. Instead of using like eggs and butter and things, there's vegetable oil and then there's vinegar and baking soda in it, and that causes like a reaction so that it makes the cake rise. It ends up being a really tasty cake. And then you can usually use something like vegan butter or vegan margarine in order to make like an icing for it. I was really excited to find this chapter. Party foods. It's my favorite kind of food. We've got recipes for ice cream sandwiches, and then there's a recipe for party mix. So I always think party mix means like maybe Chex Mix. And this does have what I think are Chex. It says 2 cups of bite-sized rice biscuits, but then it also has 2 cups of bite-sized shredded wheat biscuits. And I've never thought about having shredded wheat in a party mix. It's kind of a different take on it. I thought that this ice cream punch was pretty interesting as well. I thought, when it says ice cream punch, I'm thinking like the old school fruit punch in a punch bowl with scoops of sherbet in it, but that's not what this is. So this has a 1/4 cup of instant coffee powder. Make sure that's decaf if it's for kids. 1/3 cup of sugar, a cup of milk, some club soda, and then 1/2 pint of vanilla or coffee flavored ice cream. Like that doesn't even sound like a beverage. That straight up sounds like a dessert. I would love that. I don't know if kids would love that. I'm not sure like what they were really thinking about with this recipe. This punch is a combination of ice cream and something to drink. All you need to add for a party is a plain butter cookie. Nothing fancy because the punch is very rich. Oh no, what if the other parents on the block find out that you've invited their children over for coffee? You got a bunch of wired kids. I don't think that would make you very popular. I'm still on my Christmas kick and I wanted to make a fun beverage, something really cozy to drink, not coffee punch. Today I'm going to be preparing spiced punch. I don't drink a lot of like hot apple cider or hot apple juice. I would like to give this a try. It seems pretty simple to make at home. It is kind of a gloomy day today and I can't say that I'm mad about it, but this sounds like the perfect thing to have for a gray day like this. It's warm, it's cozy, and I'm ready to get started. We have a pretty quick one today and I'm fine with that. I think this is perfect if you just want to make something super cozy, super snuggly to drink so that you can get to the couch and watch Christmas movies. In order to make spiced punch, you are going to need 1/4 cup of lemon juice, 1 quart of apple juice or apple cider. I'm using apple juice, a teaspoon of whole cloves, a teaspoon of nutmeg, 2 cinnamon sticks. The end. Sorry, I thought I had more ingredients to go. I am cutting this recipe in half, but the ingredients that I listed were in full. Combine lemon juice and apple cider in a saucepan. I can handle that. We'll get our juice, our apple juice in there. Measure that out. A full recipe of this is supposed to make 8 servings, but they're really small. They're only 4 ounces. So I would say a full recipe is more like 4 servings. Cut a square of cheesecloth or clean white cloth about 5 by 5 inches. Measure and place the following on cloth: cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon sticks. Make a bag by tying ends together with string. I actually found these filter bags and I think they're for like spices or tea. So I'm gonna try using those. I think they'll work just fine. This is already a pretty small cinnamon stick, so I'm just gonna use that without breaking it in half. There we go. Okay, cinnamon sticks. Our whole cloves, those are very strong. Right, 1/2 teaspoon of whole cloves in the bag. Our nutmeg as well. It's a lot of nutmeg. I'm feeling like I'm gonna sneeze. It's fine. And then there's you just fold the top over. So I hope this works okay, like this. We'll see. Place in saucepan over low heat. Bring up to boiling point. Add bag of spices and simmer for 5 to 10 minutes. Remove bag of spices. Get that going. Stir it with my cute little wooden spoon. Okay, so it has started to boil. Next, I'm supposed to drop my little bag of spices in, and then I'm gonna lower the heat just to let it simmer. And we'll let that go for 5 to 10 minutes. So this has been simmering away for about 5 minutes. So now I'm supposed to take the spices out and set them aside. Just want to be really careful. I just don't want to burn myself. Really fragrant. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if this is going to be my jam. I don't always love hot apple cider or like hot apple beverages, but I wanted to give it a try. It says serve punch hot in gaily colored cups. I mean, this is pretty good, right? Is that colorful enough? It says it can also be served cold, which I might like better. I'm gonna try it out hot and see what I think. I'm just gonna do a little. I don't think I want to do a full cup right now. It smells nice. It smells very spicy. Oh, That is a lot more lemon juice than I expected to taste. I don't know if I love the lemon juice. I mean, it's not bad. I don't know if it's something that I would have on the regular. I think this would be great if you have a cold or a sore throat and you need something to soothe it. It was real tart, you guys. I expected a lot more apple flavor to come through. Maybe if I used cider, it would, but I had apple juice, so that's what I used. I might reduce the amount of cloves. That's a really strong flavor, but honestly, the lemon is just kind of taking over everything. Do you have a spiced cider recipe that's better than this that I should try? If so, leave me a comment and tell me what it is, because I'd be willing to try another one. I just don't think this one's for me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you like it, you might consider subscribing to my channel. I post content similar to this just about every week. If you'd like to see what else I'm up to, you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is _cookingthebooks_. Thanks again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!